Let's jump straight in. Number 10. The Lost Tomb of Pharaoh Thutmose II. For 3,500 years, nobody had a clue where this guy ended up. He literally pulled the best. Now you see me, now you don't in history. And then bam. Archaeologists just stumbled on a hidden entrance in the Valley of the Kings. But don't imagine some Indiana Jones moment with torches and snakes. Nope, it was just buried under a ridiculous amount of rock and sand. Like, good luck finding. Peasants, kind of buried. What's inside? Maybe mountains of gold, maybe an ancient curse, or maybe just a big empty room filled with bat poop. Because that's how archaeology works. 1% glory, 99% disappointment. Here's the fun part. Thutmose II ruled during one of the juiciest royal dramas in Egypt's history. If this tomb hasn't been looted, it could spill tea that's been brewing for 3 millennia. For now, they've only scanned the first chambers. So yeah, think of it as opening the oldest loot box in history. Could be a legendary drop, or just gray trash gear. Stay tuned. Number 9. The Celtic Mega Hoard. Archaeologists in the Czech Republic literally struck Iron Age gold. No, seriously. They uncovered an entire 2,200-year-old Celtic settlement packed with treasures. Hundreds of gold and silver coins, shiny bronze jewelry, imported pottery, even religious temples. It's like somebody rage quit history, dumped their entire RPG inventory into the ground, and said, "Yep, I'm done." But here's what makes this mind-blowing. For the longest time, the Celts had this reputation as barbarians. You know, wild warriors with blue face paint screaming into battle. But this site? It was basically Vegas for the Celts. They had busy markets, religious ceremonies, industrial workshops for making tools, weapons, and jewelry. They even had imported luxury goods from the Mediterranean. These so-called savages were running a sophisticated economy centuries before the Roman Empire came strutting in like they owned the place. And the coins? They weren't just random pocket change. They show trade links stretching across Europe from Greece to Gaul. So yeah, the Celts weren't just sitting in forests carving ruins on rocks. They were connected, wealthy, and organized. So next time someone says the Celts were primitive, remind them they were swimming in gold, while the Romans were still figuring out how to build straight roads. Number 8. The Sutton Hoo Glass Bucket. At first glance, you'd think, oh cool, a fancy bucket. Nope, this isn't for water or wine. It's a 1,500-year-old funeral bucket. Yeah, the kind of thing you'd expect to see in a medieval metal band music video. Here's what makes it wild. This bucket is made of luxury Byzantine glass, crafted over 1,500 miles away in what's now Turkey or Syria. Back then, glass like this was the equivalent of a luxury sports car. You didn't just casually own it. Someone actually hauled this fragile piece across mountains, rivers, and bandit-infested trade routes just so an Anglo-Saxon noble could use it to hold cremated human ashes. Oh, and for extra weird points, they also tossed in some animal bones. Because apparently, your final resting place needed a +1. And here's the real kicker. This single bucket is proof that early medieval England was directly trading with the Byzantine Empire. That means the so-called Dark Ages weren't so dark after all. People were connected. Trade routes were global long before anyone coined the term globalization. So yeah, imagine being that ancient craftsman in Constantinople, making the most beautiful glass of your life, thinking, it'll end up in a palace, and it winds up being a medieval ashtray. That's like buying a diamond-encrusted trash can. Number 7. The Canaanite Shipwreck. This thing is 3,300 years old and sitting almost 2 kilometers deep in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Israel. And here's the part that blows my mind. This shipwreck was found completely by accident. during an undersea gas survey. They weren't even looking for history. They were just mapping the ocean floor, and bam, history said, "Hi." So what did they find? A cargo ship from the late Bronze Age, absolutely stuffed with hundreds of amphorae, those iconic clay jars ancient people used for wine, oil, or basically anything valuable. And the crazy twist? This wreck lies way beyond the sight of land, which means the people sailing it didn't just hug the coastline like everyone thought they did back then. Nope. These ancient sailors were full-on navigating the open sea thousands of years before anyone gave them credit for it. And here's why this matters. For years, historians thought Bronze Age trade was limited, like little hopscotch routes between nearby ports. But this ship proves they were running serious international shipping routes, linking Canaan, Cyprus, Greece, and maybe even Egypt. Basically, they had a global supply chain before Amazon Prime. Also, think about this wreck sat in total darkness for 3,000 years, untouched, perfectly preserved by deep-sea conditions. It's literally a time capsule from an era when kings were still building giant temples and writing on clay tablets. So yeah, next time someone says ancient people didn't know what they were doing, remind them they were navigating the deep sea without GPS. Well, we can't even find our car keys. Number 6, the Nazca Lines, but with a twist of artificial intelligence. You probably know the basics. Huge mysterious geoglyphs carved into the Peruvian desert around 2,000 years ago, massive shapes of animals, humans, and patterns you can only really see from the air. People have been debating for decades. Were they messages to the gods? Ancient alien landing strips? Or just really, really bored artists? Well, here's the upgrade. Recently, researchers unleashed AI-powered image recognition on thousands of aerial and satellite photos of the Nazca Desert. And guess what? The AI found 303 new geoglyphs hiding in plain sight. Yeah, more than 300 shapes we didn't even know exist, including hummingbirds, monkeys, snakes, cats, and even human-like figures with giant heads. And these aren't just doodles. Some are over 100 feet long, carved with insane precision. The really weird part? Many of the new figures are connected by straight lines, like an ancient GPS network. And some shapes only align correctly during specific times of the year, like the solstices, meaning these weren't random drawings. They were giant astronomical calendars or ceremonial pathways. So now we know the Nazca people weren't just desert scribblers. They were running a complex ritual system tied to astronomy, way before telescopes were a thing. And the fact that we needed AI to find them? That's the twist. Ancient humans built something so huge and precise, it still takes modern technology to fully understand it. So next time someone says AI is replacing human creativity, remind them AI is literally just helping us catch up to what humans were doing 2,000 years ago. We've uncovered lost tombs, Vegas-level Celtic treasure hoards, weird funeral buckets, deep-sea shipwrecks, and giant desert doodles you can only see from space. But trust me, this is just a warm-up. In part 2, we're diving into even wilder stuff like ancient cities that sank overnight, cursed water supplies that wiped out entire civilizations, and the kind of secrets that make you go, wait, how did they even do that? So if your brain just went, okay, I need more of this, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and get ready for part 2. It's about to get even crazier.